What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Slashers and Superheroes. I am Cameron. This is Jacob, and we've got some news for y'all today. Now, it's going to cover two very prolific franchises, um,
But vastly different.
vastly different. I mean, listen, our name, okay, Slashers and Superheroes. So it's in our name.
Hmm.
We love slashers. We love. I mean, I love superhero movies. Jacob's on the fence, but we like both genres, right?
Yeah.
So why not play to our strengths? Why not play to the name and just put them in both in one video? We were contemplating. We are like, maybe we should do it separate videos. We're like, no, we'll just put in the same video. So we're gonna talk Spider-Man 4. Apparently, Sam Raimi talked to some fan at some con and
Hmm.
gave some news that I hope a lot of people will take gracefully, because I know there's a lot of people that don't really like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, but we'll talk about what he said about a possible Spider-Man 4,
Hmm.
and then we're going to talk Halloween. Halloween, Miramax bought Halloween, or the rights to Halloween,
Yep.
or yeah, and so they're making a TV show.
Hmm.
And so we got some news on that, and Jacob has some thoughts on that he wants to talk about. I know, because when the news broke out, he's like, "I have thoughts," and so I was like, "Okay, well, we'll make a video on it." Totally. So we'll get straight into it. So Spider-Man 4. Now, Spider-Man 4, I we all know that Spider-Man 4 was supposed to come out like about a decade ago, in some change, and it got scrapped. So
Hmm.
we never really got to see it. Sam Raimi's been very, open about it. Tobey Maguire's been open about it. Sandman's actor has been very adamant about it, or open rather. And
Hmm.
so we've known that it's been scrapped for a while. But ever since Tobey showed up in No Way Home, there's been rumors that maybe, Sony wants to give it another shot. Maybe Sam Raimi's like, maybe I've got more time on my hands. Maybe I want to play with it. Because from what I've read, Sam Raimi, it was scrapped because he couldn't make a certain deadline. And so Raimi told Sony, and Sony's like, okay, we're just going to get rid of it. And like, which is stupid, by the way. So he couldn't meet a
Yeah. I
deadline.
mean, let's say Sony, along with that, Sony's like the reason that Spider-Man 3 is the worst of that trilogy because they were too hands-on. But that's a different story.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that. Too many villains and terrible
Hmm.
casting for Venom. Anyway, again, whole nother story. So, with that being said, we've got some news. So, now the person who tweeted this out wrote it in Spanish. So I'm assuming it was a con in Brazil,
Hmm.
uh, Mexico. I don't know, Mexico perhaps. I'm not sure, but oh, it was held. Never mind. It was held at Monster. It was Monster Mania Con in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. That's where the Comic Con was. Um,
Okay, so in Brazil.
in Brazil. Yeah, New Jersey's in Brazil, confirmed. He met this guy met with the director and had a short interaction, as you do, when you go to cons and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, and then, of course, the fan asked about a potential fourth Spider-Man film, and Raimi's like, "Yeah." And so he had had a positive update about it.
Hmm.
And so, ever since Toby showed up in No Way Home, it kind of opened that door a little bit,
Hmm.
because you know Toby is still Spider-Man, right?
Hmm.
Which was kind of confirmed, and so he came into Tom's world and then left alive, wounded but alive,
And there's rumors too of him being in the Avengers movies
in the
that are
Secret
coming out.
Wars movies. Yeah.
Yep.
So, um, Raimi revealed that he has desire, and the fans want it. He wants it. Um, and so, but he says it has to be at the right time, which
Hmm.
I completely understand, because you have this Spider-Man 4, different Spider-Man 4, Tom Holland Spider-Man 4 coming out
Hmm.
that Sony wants to put out. And I think it's going to be an association with Marvel thing, but I think it's going to be, a part of the Sonyverse, which I pray for Tom because,
that's a whole different story too.
yeah,
About
like,
like Sony's wanting like a isn't it Sony wants like a multiverse movie or something, and then Feige's wanting ground level. That's like a whole different
yeah,
Spider-Man drama.
yeah, we
Yeah.
can make a whole nother video on that, but that kind of makes my brain hurt, so I really don't want to. But, um, but yeah, with Toby returning, it seems more open to the possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so the guy on Twitter said he told me that there are chances of this happening simply because he has the same desire as we do. But if it is to happen, it will be at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, when do you think it will be the right time? Because I think Sam Raimi, he has some obligations coming up. If I'm not mistaken, he's doesn't he have a film coming up that he's doing, or does he actually?
Uh,
I don't.
I'm not sure. Um, Not that I know of.
So I
Um,
mean, he could possibly start writing on it if he wanted
yeah,
to,
yeah.
just to kind of, or maybe talk to Sony and say, "Hey, I want to do this, and I can
Mm-hmm.
actually hit the deadline this time if you give me one,"
Mm-hmm.
type deal. Um,
I mean,
and
it's possible that not that it could become messy, but you this for if you end up the right time per se, um, making the fourth Spider-Man and having it be canon to the MCU, and then having it be a setup for how and why he's like part of the Avengers or Secret Wars or whatever it ends up being called. So it could be like not a setup movie, but you can have a fourth Spider-Man movie to right the wrongs of Spider-Man 3, and then towards the end of that movie kind of set up, oh, okay, this is why he's going to be part of the Avengers instead of him just randomly showing up to team up with everybody. So
mhm,
I think that could be the right time, but this thing though, Avengers comes out 2026
something
is
around
when it's
there.
dated.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's I mean 2 years. That seems like a ways away, but it's actually not when it comes to like making movies. Like if they want to get it out before Avengers, they're gonna have to get started on it now. If he hasn't written any of it yet. Um, yeah, either that or I guess wait a little bit, wait till after Avengers comes out,
yeah,
and then that's like 2027, 2028. But yeah, I don't know how you feel about it overall, but I'm kind of in the middle on it. Us getting a Spider-Man 4. Um, I would rather have that than a Amazing Spider-Man 3.
hmm,
Um, just because I don't know, there was more good movies with the Tobey movies than the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. I do like the first Amazing Spider-Man, but
yeah. I think that
same thing
one,
with Spider-Man 3.
the first Amazing
Amazing
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
was
2 is a
decent.
mess. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical on it just because at the moment there's drama with Spider-Man 4 when it
Hmm.
comes to Tom Holland, and they got the Sony verse with the villains that's all over the place right now, and they can't make a good movie to save their life with that verse.
Yeah,
I know some people like Venom, but they're not great movies. Um,
yeah. If you
yeah,
look
so
at the first Venom and you compare it to the second Venom, the first Venom is a masterpiece. So
yeah, yeah,
there you go.
yeah, and like, yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot going on when it comes to Spider-Man, so I don't know if I trust Sony or whoever ends up, being, working with Sam Raimi. I don't know if I trust them to make a movie as good as the first two Spider-Man movies with Toby. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough, and plus you have, like you said, you have the fourth Spider-Man with Tom. You have the Spider Verse movies, the animated ones,
Hmm.
and then there's been talks about doing live action Miles Morales. That's three different Spider-Man series going on. You had
Yep.
Toby, that's a fourth, and there's also been talks of not as much lately, but there's been talks of Amazing Spider-Man sequels with Andrew. So that's possibly five different movie series going on. Like I don't know it. I love Spider-Man, but it could get very messy and sporadic. So I'm kind of in the middle on it. I don't know how you feel about getting a Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it might be a little too late. I feel like we should have gotten this like before,
Mm-hmm.
like like maybe when they scrapped it like a decade ago, right? And they gave it some time, and they gave Sam some time, and like, okay, well, let's go ahead and do it now before the Amazing Spider-Man movies come out or whatnot. And so I just think I feel
Yeah,
like
like
No Way Home was a really good just kind of ending point for Toby. Like we got to see
hmm
him, he shined, he was good in that, and we move on. But
yeah, and
I
I agree. It might be too little, too late because I just looked it up. Spider-Man 3 came out 2007, so
good
17 years ago.
good God.
That's almost 2 decades, man. It's been a while. Yeah.
And Raimi might not even want to do it because I've been looking. He said that he was interested. After the whole multiversal opening, right? But
hmm
about a month after he said that, he's like, I still really don't have any
Yeah,
plans.
it
And
it could have very well been like an interaction where he didn't want to say no, so he
mm,
just kind of was like, "Yeah, there's a chance,"
yeah,
and then in his head he's like, "Yeah, it's probably not happening." It could have been that.
and and he would only change his mind if there was an actual story to write.
And is
And
Toby on board with that? I mean, we know there's talks of him being in Avengers, but it could be where Sam Raimi's on board, but Toby's not.
yeah,
And
Toby
without
might be
Toby,
done with
there's
that.
no movie. Yeah.
I mean, I think Toby just, he came back to No Way Home because he got to work with Andrew and Tom. He got to work with other Spider-Men.
hmm
But if he comes back to Spider-Man 4, who is he going to fight in Spider-Man 4? Like, you've already done Venom, you've done Sandman, you've done Green Goblin, Doc Ock. There's your main villains. I mean, do you want to go Sinister 6 on this? Do you want I don't know how
Yeah,
that
I
would
mean, and
be,
then
you know.
it ends. Doesn't it's been a while since I've seen Spider-Man 3, but doesn't it end with them with him and Mary Jane ending up together?
I don't remember.
Like I was gonna say,
That was
okay,
one
what
of
if
the
Toby's
things
on
I
board?
hated about that trilogy was Mary Jane and him.
The off and on
So
thing, yeah.
toxic.
hmm
I
Well, I
don't
was gonna say,
remember.
like, is Kirsten Dunst on board too? Like,
Hmm.
if Sam Raimi's on board and Toby's on board, but she's not, do you just kind of recast her, or do you go with like a Gwen Stacy?
Hmm.
Do you go with that for a fourth one? I mean, I know we had Gwen Stacy in the third one, but you could very well, I don't know, you could very well be like, yeah, that's not canon, but the fourth one is to MCU, so it could be
Yeah.
a different casting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just becomes complicated, to be honest. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
for
it's
for
it's
me,
it's more confusing than the multiverse in general with Marvel. It's just
would you rather would would you rather them if they do end up making a fourth one at some point? Would you rather that be MCU canon, or would you rather it be its own separate thing?
its own separate
Like,
thing. I think
yep,
MCU's got too much going on right now. I don't think
okay,
you need to
yep,
be adding more. I mean, if he shows up in Secret Wars, that'd be fun. But like,
hmm
I don't need it. It was a good ending for him in No Way Home. We got what we wanted in that film. I I wouldn't care for him being a part of it. But if it be
and it could
separate,
be. Then it becomes confusing about it's the if they make a fourth one, but it's not canon to the MCU, but he's in the MCU. But they could very well make a fourth one where it takes place before No Way Home
yeah,
when he finds out about the multiverse and everything.
possibly,
Yeah.
possibly it might lead up to that. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 4. What are y'all's thoughts on it? You can let us know down below. But I I wouldn't mind it. It'd be a nice surprise, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
something I yearn for. You know. Um. Okay. Halloween.
Yes.
Now, as I've mentioned, it was as Jacob sits up in his chair. Um.
Like the meme of the guy sitting back playing video games and then he sets up.
Yeah, that one. The rights were bought by Miramax, so if I remember correctly, they were with Miramax, and then Blumhouse got it, and then Miramax got it again.
hmm
So they have it again. They're gonna make a TV show. Um, but the director of Miramax Television, I think, is what his title is.
hmm
Mark Helwig. He provided updates to Deadline or Variety, rather, either one of
Yep.
the two. Oh, No, he spoke with Deadline. I just looked at the article. Um, he revealed that the television series will be going all the way back to the start, 1978, where the first Halloween
Mm-hmm.
was,
Mm-hmm.
um, rather than continuing on from the Daniel Gordon Green and Blumhouse trilogy.
Yeah, David Gordon Green.
Right. And this is what he said. He said the foundation of it is the original film, the John Carpenter movie, the characters of that film, and perhaps a group of characters that we haven't really focused on that much in recent film, or even in a number of them. It's a complete creative reset and going back to the original film as opposed to spinning out any of the more recent film adaptations. Now, there are mixed feelings in the Zoom call right now because, one, we all have seen how Halloween ended.
Mm-hmm.
So in that general sense, it would be smart enough to go to the back because Michael's dead. He got fucking grinded.
Mm-hmm.
His body parts are everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So you would think, okay, let's go ahead and do that. But wouldn't you want to explore like how the fuck Michael was able to live through all the shit that he lived through?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he a super soldier? Is he like was he possessed by the
There's
devil?
there's always been a discussion about him being supernatural. You
Right.
know.
Like a Jason Voorhees type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you would have wanted to explore that, maybe, but I feel like if the rights were bought by A24, they would go down that route. But this is Miramax, and Miramax, I don't really. They've tried that before. I think, back in the day with the Curse of Michael Myers Mask, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did H2O where Jamie Lee Curtis was going to kill Michael, and
Hmm.
then she finds out after the movie's made that it's in the contract. There's a contract that Michael can't be killed, and she didn't know about it. So she was like, okay. Um, she was like, just she was like, just kill me off or something like that. I can't remember the full thing. It was like a full like controversy going on with
Hmm.
or drama, but she supposedly killed Michael, and then Halloween Resurrection, which I believe was under Miramax, H2O Resurrection, all that. Uh, Resurrection, Michael comes back, and it's like, oh, it wasn't Michael. She killed someone else or something like that. I can't remember. It's a mess, but um, yeah, I won't say I'm not excited because I love Halloween and any new
Yeah.
Halloween, I'm always excited for it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't like what I was reading with the deadline update. Um, yeah, it's okay. So they're talking about in the article. This I'm going through my problems with it. They're talking about in the article about how we're gonna do something different. We're gonna go back to the beginning instead of continuing with the Dave Gordon Green trilogy. But it's like that's exactly what the David Gordon Green trilogy did. They they scrapped everything after the first one
Hmm.
and said it was not canon. And then the David Gordon Green timeline is the original, and then Halloween 2018, and then Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends. So I don't know, it comes off as lazy to me because they're trying to word it like it's some like fresh new take, and it's exactly what the new trilogy did, starting playing off the original. And my thing is, Halloween's had this problem before, or they've had this problem throughout their franchise. They like to cling to the original 1978 film, and that's one of the best, arguably the best slasher of all time, one of the
Right.
best horror movies of all time.
Which would
But
make
at this
sense
point,
why people would want to milk it,
yeah,
but
and at this point, there's been 10 plus Halloween movies. There's going to be a TV show coming up. You don't need to keep clinging to the original. You're not gonna. That was like lightning in a bottle with that original. You're not, just quit trying to recreate the original. Now, for me, what I would do, and of course, I'm sure there's people smarter than me, like they know a lot more about movies and everything than me and TV shows. But for if I was in control of it, Michael Myers arguably the biggest horror icon ever.
Mm-hmm.
and you don't need to clean back the original with the original characters or bring back Laurie again or anything. Just have Michael Myers. Whole new story, all new characters, just everything. You can keep the lore if you want to about him, killing his sister as a kid and everything. You can keep that, whatever. But you can have a whole new story about, it's just, I don't know. As long as you have Michael, it's gonna put up numbers. Like people are gonna be interested. It's Michael Myers,
Yeah.
so you don't have to cling to these original characters. And like, they didn't they say in the article about how they could possibly explore characters that haven't really been explored a whole lot from the original.
Mm-hmm.
That's my slight like uh not like negative. That's what has me a little bit of hope because I love Dr. Loomis from the original, and we've gotten him in multiple movies, but having a new story centered around him would be pretty cool. And Donald Pleasance, he's passed away, so he can't come back to play him.
Right.
Um, so you have to recast him. But like, yeah, that would be cool. But like, Lori or like any of her friends, I don't know. I'm just not interested in that. Like the only story they could do that I would be on board with is if they had a story centered around Doctor Loomis because he's an interesting character. Yeah, other than that, I just want like a new story and like new characters. Like if you're gonna go the TV show route, which has never been done for Halloween, let's go different
Mm-hmm.
because this is different than the movies. This is gonna be you can make it completely separate. This is TV, and yeah, I don't know. It just feels like such a it what holds. I love Halloween franchise, but it's part of what holds it back is them trying to cling to the original and them having to recanon stuff and move this around. Like it's just start fresh since you're going to TV show. That's my take on it. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how you feel about it. But,
Yeah, I mean, we have the original for a reason, and I feel like going back to that and trying to redo it is kind of not the right way to go. Like, I would have liked, so, like, I know you would have liked, like, kind of like different characters and just like,
mm-hmm.
like, same Michael, but different characters, whatever the case may be. But, like, I would have been so interested in seeing, like, a series from, like, how did Michael become the way he was? Like his point of view, like what caused him to kill his
Yeah, and
sister, right?
we got that with the first Rob Zombie movie, and
Yeah, well, I don't count that.
yeah,
I don't
you wouldn't like it, but
I don't count that.
I see what you're saying. Like maybe like a different take
Yeah,
on how he became Michael.
and kind
Yeah.
of get like his point of view, like a whole like season of just of when did he kill for the first time? Like 7 years old, 8 years old,
Hmm.
something like
Yeah.
that. Just like a full season of like how he kind of like started turning like go from like this really nice sweet kid to oh my god, this kid's gonna be a serial killer in the future. Like
Hmm.
certain things like that. And then the next season is when he's older and you just like something like that. But
And people have I've seen because I've looked at like some people's opinions on the news, and some people were like they should just make a TV show and call it Tales from Haddonfield, and just have like mini stories, kind of like Goosebumps, like a Halloween Goosebumps, where it's like mini stories of Michael for each episode, like where it's new characters for every episode. I was like, that could be cool. That it's at
yeah,
least something different,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Miramax, you don't look at Miramax and say, "Oh, they're transcendent. They do different things." Like, when's the last Miramax movie that you can think of that you're like, "Oh my god, I love that
I'm
Miramax
sure
movie."
there is one, but they're not as big of a company as they used to be.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, they used to do a lot of stuff, but
Hmm.
now you don't really see a whole lot. Which makes me kind of wonder how the hell they were able to get the rights back. Maybe they're saving up their money for the moment when Blumhouse lost the
Yeah,
rights.
I know. A24 was leading a lot of the time.
Oh, I would have loved an A24 take on it on Michael.
Yeah, I mean
I
we're
would have
getting that with
loved.
Friday, which I'm
Wait, we
pumped
are,
about.
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a TV show on Peacock. It's called
Hmm.
Crystal Lake, so
Hmm.
we're gonna
Yep.
get that.
Um. Yeah, like A24 had was in the lead to get the rights for a while, and then Miramax came in with a huge offer that A24 couldn't match because A24 they've gotten bigger lately, but they just don't. They're not making like these big blockbuster movies. So I guess Miramax, from the money they've made over the years, had a big offer. But yeah, like, and I think what could be cool if they're going this route, it seems like, with cleaning back, going back to the original. And what I think could be cool and make it a little bit different is, do you remember the opening of Halloween Kills when
I do.
it was in 1978 and it had
Mm-hmm.
that 1978 look to it
Yeah.
about how Michael looked and everything? It looked like the original.
It was basically like a backstory to Lonnie,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like at least what could be cool because that opening's awesome in Halloween Kills
Oh yeah.
because it looks just like the original. It feels like the original. If they do that, but have it be the whole entire show where it has that look, that could be pretty cool with it taking place around the first one. So that could be cool just to keep that 1978 feel. But I'm still my top choice is just go completely fresh and completely new, except for keep Michael and everything else be new. That's my take on it.
Yeah. Well.
And there's been I was watching a video of a we watched a movie with Mike and he was talking about this and he was talking about Dr. Loomis, him being like the main character, and he was talking about who could play him, and he mentioned Javier Bardem as Dr. Loomis. I was like, I'd kind of love that.
Dude, Javier is in everything.
Mm,
As it was written. As it was written. He'll come up to Michael and he'll be like, "What's wrong with you, Michael? What's going on?" He's like, "I don't know. I hear voices in my as it was written." And he'll write down on a note. Anyway, no, but I mean, yeah, like a different take on it would have been so great. But going back
mm,
to it, I mean, I'm fine with it, but I'm not overly jumping for joy. I'm not
yep.
excited. I'm just kind of
I'm
okay
I'm
with it.
still I'm still excited because as like disappointing as reading that was, I'm still excited because I love Halloween, so it's new Halloween, and then it's at least gonna be automatically different because we've never done TV with Halloween.
Yeah.
So that automatically makes it a little bit fresh. So yeah, I'm curious what they do. Um, I think it's gonna come out probably like next year because I mean Halloween's not like it's not like a bunch of CGI and everything. It's not this big blockbuster. It's not like Stranger Things with TV where it's gonna be a massive budget. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it could come out next year.
It could. It could very well could.
Yeah,
But
Friday this year and Halloween next year.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Correct.
and it doesn't say yet. I was reading because I was like, what streaming services is gonna be on? It doesn't say yet, but the director of Miramax uh, works with other shows. I believe one of them was a Gentleman's or The Gentleman or something. Um, a lot of the shows he works with for Miramax
Mm-hmm.
are on Netflix, which I'm all for having the Halloween show be on Netflix
Yeah.
because Netflix is huge. Yeah.
Yes. A lot of people would watch it. I feel like because I think a lot of people have Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now I don't think a lot of people are going to have Netflix pretty soon because the password sharing has stopped. But
Mm-hmm.
and the prices have increased. So we'll see. I mean, but yeah. I mean, it's Halloween content. It'll be fun at least just to see Michael kill people. The story
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be over. It doesn't have to be outstanding. It just has to be
Yeah, I
real
mean the
fun.
original Halloween didn't have like some of this complicated story.
Right? Yeah. But anyway, um, but yeah, that's gonna do it for the news video here. Um, give us your thoughts on Halloween. What you think they should do instead, or maybe do you like that they're going back to the old school?
Mm-hmm.
And give us your thoughts on Spider-Man 4 as well. Do you want it? Do you not want it? Vice versa, or whatever the case may be. Um, but yeah, that's going to close our little news video here. So if you want to see more news videos like this, we have plenty of news videos on the channel for you guys to go check out. I think the most recent one we did We did like a full news roundup for both Marvel and DC,
Hmm.
um, regarding the Fantastic Four, um, regarding
Superman.
Superman, yeah,
Hmm.
all that stuff. So if you want to
But
go watch
I
that,
believe it was still called Superman Legacy at that time.
yeah, but now it's
It's
called
just Superman
Superman,
now. Yep.
which I don't like, but it's okay. Um, but anyway, yeah, if you want to go see more stuff like that, please check that out. And we have other new stuff as well. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video here. Thank you for watching. As always, I'm Cameron. This is Jacob, and we will see y'all on the next Slashers and Superheroes. Bye, y'all.